I would like to talk to all of you guys about how you're collaborating together with Samantha, who's awesome, doing all these great things behind the scenes, right? Nothing ever happens for any of us in life without support from a lot of people. It comes from so many levels, And if you think about, we were talking about technology before, and you think about technology, about the software coders that are creating the app that you're using, down to the farmers who are making the food for us in our society, through, at a higher level, or at a different level, I shouldn't say a higher level, but, doing the business side of things and putting writing relationships together, and all that sort of good stuff. So I would like to give Samantha, your moment to just explain to us what you're doing, and maybe specifically give us some examples of how you're working with these guys, and also how you've developed, just so you know, and you probably do because I put it in the sizzle reel, but Samantha was one of the first people to sign Lady Gaga in Manhattan. And also, a list of artists, including Halsey and everybody else that was on that sizzle reel. So she helps cultivate the relationships over a long period of time. It doesn't just happen overnight. So I'd love for us to focus on, how it is that you're going to be helping these guys, how you've already helped them, and what you've done. It would be great to hear a little bit about what you did for Lady Gaga in the beginning of her career.
Absolutely. Wow, I could talk, with all that, I could talk for hours probably.
Please do, because I don't want to talk anymore.
I don't want to keep everyone here that long. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Thank you to the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and thank you, Stuyvesant, and thank you, Harold. And thank you all for also being on the panel with me. I'm humbled and I'm honored that you guys are here with me. It really means a lot. So I guess what I want to start by saying is probably the easiest way to start would be for me to explain what I do. And I say this all the time, so I'll start with this. I feel like I have 5 jobs I want at BMI. I feel like I am an A&R executive at a label, looking and looking for and discovering new talent. To a publisher in the sense of hooking up co-writes. 3, a manager, helping a writer and an artist, a songwriter, a publisher, in any way that I can in their career, giving them advice, to hooking them up on our festival stages, to introducing them to attorneys, managers, publishers, A&R executives, music supervisors, booking agents, you name it, basically. And sometimes I also feel like I'm a therapist, walking people through difficult moments in their career and being there with them from the very beginning all the way to massive success, right? It's a really, really fun job. The 4th thing, I would say, I feel like I'm an event planner. We have planned events all day. We have our stages at Lollapalooza, at ACL, at Hangout Fest. We do stuff at South by Southwest. We do songwriting camps. We do local events such as our acoustic lounge that we host at Rockwood Music Hall. We do a thing called Speed Dating for Songwriters. Then 5th, last but not least, would be educational and administrative. Even though we do all these creative things to help the writers that we represent, and first and foremost, we want to make sure that they get paid, right? And so if they're not signed up as a songwriter with BMI, if they don't have their publishing company set up and their songs aren't registered, we can do all these wonderful creative things for them, but they're not going to get paid. So a lot of what I do is also administratively make sure that their paperwork is in order. I educate a lot too. I speak on panels like this. I was just at NYU the other day speaking in a Clive Davis class. And it's not just me. I have a team here in New York. I think Tim Pattison's here, and Brandon Haas, and Katie Kilgallen. We're all here in the New York office, so thank you. It's not just me, it takes a team to help all these people here. And this is just New York. We've got our LA office, we've got our Nashville office, we've got an Atlanta office, a Puerto Rico office, and an office in the UK. And we just opened up an office in Austin. So that's really exciting, brand new. We just announced that in March. So that's the quick way, believe it or not, to explain what I do every day at BMI. But let me give you some examples, right? And I can give you examples right here on stage, which is one of the reasons I ask all of them to be here today. So let me just start with Maude, because you're down there. I met Maude recently. She was actually living in LA for a little while, right? And moved back to New York and had a manager, got a new manager. His name is Sam Lockhart, and he's here as well. Sam also happens to work at Disruptor Records, and one of the things that we do at BMI, our job is to keep relationships with everyone in the music industry, right? They turn me on to new things, and I turn them on to new things. Had a meeting with a friend of mine this morning, Matt Mashi, who works at Universal Music Publishing, and of course, Maude's name came up. We were talking about that, as well as Leyla. All you guys came up in my meeting this morning because I can't help but talk about you because I'm excited about all of you. But a lot of what we were doing was he called me, he wanted to meet because he wants to put together a Universal and BMI songwriting camp, right? So he wanted to talk to me about that and also talk about new music. And so I'm turning him on to new things and he's turning me on to new things at the same time, right? But when Maude came in, she was like sunshine in my office, and I got so excited. I think we all did. She probably thought it was a Fruit Loop because I was like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be massive. Like, there's not even a question. You don't even need our help, right? And, so what I like to say is we support writers, right? We help wherever we can. We're connectors because she has a great manager. She has a great attorney. She has a great team, and we're another person on that team helping her out. Leyla has done speed dating. We've hopefully we'll get her on a stage very, very soon. She has, I don't know, we've done a lot of like just sort of advising and helping you make the right decisions, right? Because you have a fabulous attorney who's here today too, Peter Lewitt, and who is who also happens to be Laundry Day's attorney as well. So it's a small world in the music industry, super, super small. And again, all about relationships. Oh, go ahead, Leyla.
No, I just want to say shout out to Peter Lewitt, who kills it. I don't think he's here anymore. He was here.
Right.
But no, I just wanted to say, with like guiding decision making, that like I sat with you in your office for 3 hours and talked about the pros and cons of a record deal, and there's nobody that I can trust to give me more partial, more not biased advice and just like real. Like
honest, the business can be tough sometimes and you're never really sure who to trust. And the wonderful thing about BMI is we're like Switzerland, right? We operate on a nonprofit making basis. We're not out to make money. And my agenda is only to help the songwriters on the stage. And that's what I'm here for. So if it means my friend at the label, who I love dearly, right, or a label or a publishing company, if it's not the right decision for that songwriter to sign with that label or that publishing company, we're going to talk about it. We're going to figure it out together, right? And I meet people in so many different stages of their career. Leyla, I met super early on, right? You guys, you're farther along in your career, right? And you didn't need me quite as much from an advice perspective. You've got JJ Grossman, who's here as well, and their manager, and Peter Lewitt, and I'm here to just sort of help, right? And so I'm happy to announce that they're going to play our Austin City Limit stage coming up in October, which is super exciting, right? And again, we're trying to create as many opportunities as we can for every songwriter that we represent. And I could keep going. I'm trying to think of where to go to next. I guess what I could say is, I'll give an example. I had a mom call me one day randomly. This is years ago. I happened to just pick up the phone at BMI and, I'm saying, hi, this is Samantha, how can I help you? And it happened to be BB Rexha's mom. But at the time, BB Rexa was, a 14-year-old living in Staten Island. And she has actually received the A. Bowman Scholarship as well back in the day, so you're all in good company, basically. But I've been through everything with her from day one, from whether or not she should sign her first publishing deal, and she decided not to after we talked about these things, to hooking her up with one of her first and biggest co-writes with John Bellion, who then became The Monster with Rihanna. That's a song that came out of that. To advising her on whether or not she'd be in the Black Cards with Pete Wentz, to figuring out how we were going to get her out of her record deal at that time so that she could go on and do other things, right? And helping her find new management and sticking with her throughout the really difficult times. That's what BMI does. We're there through the really great times, but also the down times. With Gaga, I had the good fortune of knowing a gentleman by the name of Bob Leone. And Bob happened to work at the Songwriters Hall of Fame. And he worked with a lot of young up-and-coming talent, and he called me one day and said, hey, you have to meet this young lady, Stephanie Germanotta. And I was like, awesome, I'd love to. She came in, she sat on the piano in the office, played music. I fell in love instantly. Everyone thought I was crazy, right? Or Gaga, basically, because they did not get it at all. They looked at me like, what are you, Sam, I don't get this, I don't understand that. And for me, that's what I love. I love eccentric, I love different, I don't like the same thing. I like unique voices. When people have something to say, that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking for talent, right? Also, what's extremely important is work ethic. Sometimes actually more than talent, believe it or not. But work ethic and drive and passion go so far, and I don't think a lot of people acknowledge that or realize that. And so when I met Gaga, I fell in love. And of course, she gets signed, and so many things changed after that. It is beyond rewarding to have the opportunity to work with talent early on in their careers and bring them to where they are now.
Amazing. Thank you. So, one thing probably that I should have provided a little more background on, right? So there's BMI, there's ASCAP, there's SESAC, and these are performing rights organizations that collect revenues on behalf of songwriters from airplay, from TV and film, and from anywhere else that you might be lucky enough to find your music. So that's what she was talking about when she said, they're kind of independent, which puts them in a unique position to be able to kind of mitigate and arbitrate between like a label and, a manager and the artist, and they have kind of a neutral tone, which makes them really a great resource, especially somebody like yourself who's really passionate for the young artists. So let's give her a tremendous round of applause for the work she does.